day we mix it up. We bring in a Republican Democrat. I shake up a drink, draw out a topic, and start having a cocktail. And these guys slug it out. Robert Hornak is a veteran Republican strategist. He's been on the show many times. And Josh Kravitz has also been with us a number of times. He's a Democratic strategist and district leader right here in New York City. Guys, thank you for coming back so quickly to Liquid Lunch.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. So I know how I feel about this, so I'm just going to whip it out to you. Take a look at this clip of Mark Sanford, and then I want you guys to tell me what you think his chances are. This is what's happening.
You basically have no chance of winning the Republican nomination, so why run for president?
I think you probably would have said that same thing to Donald Trump just a matter of months ago as he faced the likes of Jeb Bush and others.
Do you honestly think you have a serious chance of beating?
I'm saying you never know. I'd say I'm listing my goals. My primary goal is to say, let's go out and force or try and create a conversation on that which is not being talked about in this presidential cycle.
Josh, you guys have experience on the Dem side with a boatload of people in primaries. What is Sanford's real chances?
They're none. They're none.
Zero.
I think Chris.
The same as de Blasio?
Yeah.
About zero.
Yeah. I mean, I think the difference between what Mark Sanford is saying and the current situation is that there was no incumbent in 2016. Now you have an incumbent. People have rallied around him. I'm not someone who can speak for what the Republican electorate is always thinking, but I know that they like Donald Trump for the vast majority of them, and I don't think that Mark Sanford really has much of a shot.
Well, all three of us guys are, engrossed in local politics, citywide, statewide, and I've always been a big advocate of more choices. Voter choice is a big thing to me, and ballot access. So, Robert,
yes.
Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Because the states will save money by not having primaries.
Look, if Sanford and all these other guys want to run, they should just let them run. There's no reason to martyr them and raise their profile by making them fight to get on the ballot and having a cause to rally behind. But if the question is, does Mark Sanford have a chance? Becoming a CNN host, maybe, because that's what all these guys are doing right now. They're interviewing for their next job at CNN or MSNBC so they could be Trump bashers for the next 4 years.
So now this weekend, I guess Trump was going to have a secret meeting with the Taliban.
Right.
And then when it turned out he wasn't having the meeting, turned out it wasn't going to be a secret anymore. So he tweeted everyone that the secret meeting that was supposed to be on is off. Should we even be meeting with the Taliban, Josh?
It's a difficult and complicated issue, right? At the end of the day, we've been in Afghanistan for 18 years. We're about to hit the 18th anniversary of September 11th, and actually a lot of people have been complaining about the optics of the fact that the Taliban might have been at Camp David on September 11th. So we need to get ourselves out of Afghanistan. I think most people in both parties agree with that. However, it's the strategic concerns. It's the way that he goes about it. It's the way that he wants to have an overture. He wants to give them something of value. I mean, letting the Taliban come to Camp David is giving them something of value. The same way of meeting Kim in North Korea was giving him something of value. If you're a negotiator, like he says that he is, then why are you giving away something of value for free, like letting the Taliban come meet you? And
I don't think he did, but
he offered it.
I think he pulled away the football, like Charlie Brown,
he pulled away
at the last minute, and they wound up on their back.
I mean, he pulled away the football because there was a Taliban attack, but there had been ongoing Taliban attacks throughout the months of the negotiation.
Should we be negotiating here, Rob?
Well, of course we should. We should be talking to all of our rivals in the world to see if we can calm them down. Well, look, this is what's been great about Trump and what Republicans love about Trump and why he's got 95% unprecedented approval rating within the party. Because you've got this whole international affairs establishment that has been ruling the roost for the last 30 years, telling everybody, no, this is very complicated stuff, and you got to do it this way, you got to talk to that guy that way, and you got to make sure these three people are in the room when you do it. And Trump has said, you know what? You guys have failed for 30 years. I'm doing this my way. I'm going to follow what my gut tells me to do, and I'm going to talk to who I want to talk to. He didn't give anything away. Look, when he literally tweeted the guy and said, hey, I'm going to be right by the border. Yeah. Why don't you come meet me? And Kim came to meet Trump.
I think
that was a huge victory for Trump.
I know everyone on the left hates it, but he is kind of taking politics and statesmanship to a new level. It's more like the kids of today. It's like instant gratification, right?
But what
He's turned the whole establishment on its head.
What has it gotten us? What has it gotten us? I mean, the North Koreans have shot more missiles over Japan during the Trump presidency than they did during the 8 years of Obama. I mean, what has it gotten us with Iran? We left the Iran deal, and now Iran is enriching plutonium.
But they were enriching plutonium the whole time.
Not during the
deal.
They were. At least
they were.
We had a
We
had a verification regime.
Right, but they weren't letting the verification regime go to every place where they were allegedly making radioactive.
Would you rather have a hand in Iran? Would you rather have people verifying? Would you rather have an open line of communication, or would you rather the situation that we have now? Which
I wouldn't. I'd rather choke them by the neck and put all kinds of economic sanctions on them.
If you want to choke them by the neck,
and Obama had them. Obama had them. He had his foot on their neck, and the people started uprising a little bit, and then we backed away.
But if you really want to put your foot on their neck, then you need to build a global consensus, and he's been unable to do that with the G7 and with the European Union. So the European Union wants to deal with Iran still because ultimately they feel like they were largely in compliance with the deal, and the U.S. is the side that's reneging. We left them in the middle. If we can build a global consensus around Iran, like Obama did, that's great. But we can't because we unilaterally reneged on the deal when our allies felt like they were generally complying.
This has been the conventional wisdom of the international affairs establishment for decades now, and it's failed. Look, we know that they were enriching the uranium all throughout that deal. We gave them $150 billion to try to buy their cooperation, and it failed. Everybody said, Obama, if you do this, it's going to fail, and he did it anyway. And now he's put us in a worse position, a more difficult position to negotiate our way out of. But Trump putting them in a box and breaking off ties with them was the right way to go, because you've got to start to encourage that uprising of the people and hopefully overthrow that government in time.
So, final 2 minutes here. The Democratic debate is Wednesday night. I guess we're down to 10 now. Josh, give me your prognostication on what you think we'll see.
Well, I mean, I think it's really Bernie and Elizabeth Warren have the most to gain, and they have to really try and make a move now. Biden seems to be holding steady, and it seems like his coalition is mostly built off of people who think that he's the most electable. And so if you're going to pierce Biden's coalition, you have to prove to people that he's not the most electable. And the way to do that is by basically, unlike Kamala Harris, who basically brought in the school busing issue and kind of caught him, that's not an issue that most people really care about any longer. And also most of the people in Biden's coalition are people who live with forward policy vision and show that Biden is just purely an electability candidate and is not putting a full policy platform forward. And that's what will galvanize the people who work in factories in Ohio, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania to say, you know what, here's a new vision that the Democratic Party has, because those are historically Democratic Party voters from the 60s, 70s, and so on.
Rob, what's your final word on what we could see Wednesday night?
I think you're going to see everybody continuing to beat up on Joe Biden because he's the front runner. He's very vulnerable. He has, as Josh said, he's got that aura of I'm the guy, the only one that's really electable. And as soon as he loses that air of electability, his campaign's over.
Well, I want to thank Josh Kravitz and Robert Hornak for joining us today to mix it up. And let's hope Joe Biden can remember what state he's in when the debate kicks off. You stay right there. We're coming back right after this.